Yes, welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Today, joined by Jords from Do-Rag Diaries. Jords, Tottenham Hotspur. We live it, we breathe it. But right now, are we in love with it? What's going on, my man? What's happening? How are you?
No, that's the perfect way to put it. Are we in love with it? I definitely wouldn't. So someone said to me the other day it was like a toxic relationship, and I was like, no, with toxic relationships, there's actually some good parts. I think this is an abusive, like a mental abusive relationship right now.
Yeah.
It's not been great. Worst year in God knows how long, but we're getting through it. Hopefully, just trying to get to the end of the season at this point. Real soon, real close.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, I've got people messaging me saying things like, "Oh my God, you should be grateful. You know, you're in a semi-final of a European competition," and I'm like, "Yeah, but when we're not playing in Europe, I'm getting embarrassed by. It doesn't matter. Leicester, Ipswich, Palace. I don't know. It doesn't matter." So look, I've titled this video, George. So I've said, look, Ange leave, and take Romero with you, and I want to talk about that specifically today. Look, there's been a lot of reports, George, in the last 3 or 4 days. We know what the media's like. We know that they're clickbait. We know that we're YouTubers. We're somewhat clickbait, if you like, and we like following the news. But a lot of reports are coming out now that even if Ange was to win the Europa League, that his time at Tottenham is done. And I'll show you just a few of the headlines, and then we'll have a little chat about it. So we've got this one where this was from the Telegraph Football saying, breaking news, Ange Postecoglou is likely to leave Tottenham, whether they win the Europa League or not. Off the back of that, this was the original one from Matt Law, saying, Postecoglou likely to leave Spurs no matter what happens. We've then got Mike Keegan saying that Tottenham are going to have a massive summer shake-up with Ange likely to go. Apparently, nobody is safe, as you can see there. Is that the more worrying thing for you, George, that we are on the verge of a European final, and yet still so many want this man gone, reports that he's leaving? Where are you at with the whole thing?
I just think it's a bit of a mess. Like, the focus should be at this point. Like I said, we're close to Europe. We're in a European Cup semi-final. The focus should just be get through these games, get through the end of the season, or get to these games. Let's just focus on the game next week. We got Liverpool on the weekend. We can slide that one. No one can. I think all Tottenham fans have accepted. We're not getting nothing from that game. So play whatever you want to play in that game. Focus on that semi-final. But no, with Spurs, it's always negative news. It's always there's this wrong, and it is only natural that coming at this point in the season when you're not in a good place, that players and so on are going to start talking to their agents. That's fine. But when you as a club allow the news to come out the way it does after a loss, the timing of it, you're supposed to control and mitigate the circumstance in how it is pushed out. We don't ever do that. Spurs just looks like a mess, and it makes it look a whole lot worse because there's constantly new reports coming out, and then you get linked to all these new managers, and there doesn't seem like there's a clear direction. It should just be one news coming out that, Spurs, because it seems like what the thought is, Ange's going to get to the end of the season, and similar to what Man United done, they're going to do an end of season review. That should just be the one report coming out from everywhere. It should be, we're going to do an end of season review, and then we're going to go from there. Because look, we've all accepted he's going to stay for the European semi-finals. By the time he's got through the next 2 of them, there's going to be 2 Premier League games left. He's of course not going to get sacked for those. So make sure that the news that's coming out is streamlined. But hey, typical Spurs, isn't it? It's just coming from everywhere.
I mean, look, it is interesting because I get it, right? There are those that will say, well, hang on, you ungrateful so-and-sos, you've not won anything for 17 years. You could win the Europa League. How ungrateful that you want the manager gone. But I think we've gone past that, George. I think we've gone past the normal fans, me and you, for example. We've gone past the normal everyday fan having their opinion of Ange in, Ange out. There seems to be a lot of noise at the club. There's lots of talk, as that paragraph said there. Shut up, you. Sorry, the dog. As that paragraph said there, does Munn stay at the club? We've got a new CEO coming into the club. Does Lang stay at the club? Does Ange stay? It feels like it's everywhere. And I'll be honest, Ange himself, I don't rate Ange. I don't want him at the club. But Ange himself must be thinking, sod this for a game. I'm done, even if I win. Is that fair? Is that?
I
pretty much
think
where we
that's
are.
sort of where it's leading to. From how he's coming out in his press conferences, the things he says, his attitude. Like, I know a lot of people were saying like a few months ago, the fact his head down, but it's just like he's like, yeah, we had an outstanding performance yesterday. And it's like, outstanding where? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know what he's watching, and it seemed like he's started to get to the point where he cares way more about his own ego and pride rather
Right.
than just making this club get to its best point possible. So I agree. I think if he wins the trophy, he does I always win things in my second season, but you know what? See that, Spurs fans? I'm gone. And he's going to be like, look, I love you and I'm going to leave you there. And he's going to use that to sort of fuel himself and his own pride and be like, yeah, I still always win things. I think that's the only reason why he wants to get it done. Because if he wasn't in that European Cup semi-final and he was in, let's just say, even 10th, 11th, and he wasn't competing for nothing, I think he would have been gone. But because he knows that himself, he wants to prove everyone wrong. Because he gets asked questions all the time on it. So I think he's generally out here just fighting for himself. And once he gets proven to not win something or win something, he's going to leave. He's going to part ways, and it's going to come out as either a mutual consent or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think he gets sacked.
I think that's a great way of putting it as well. I mean, I've said for a long time, whenever I've streamed with Lubo, we've always said that this is very much a vanity project. It doesn't feel like what he's doing is in the best interest of Tottenham. It feels like he's on a mission to make, hey, this is how I play. Everyone said it can't work. I'm going to fight through the worst times to prove that it can. But unfortunately, it hasn't. And I think that's it. For me, George, I don't know about you. When we've lost games like Forest and Wolves, I don't want to hear my manager come out and say, thought we played brilliantly today. We controlled games. I want him to turn around and say, we've got to work at this. We've got to find different ways to play. I need to get on the training ground. But half the fan base, let's be honest about this. They're going, yeah, there you go. Even Ange said it. We played brilliantly. Dude, 2-0 down in 15 minutes at home to Nottingham Forest. I don't want to see the word brilliant near anything.
And they always seem to take out the context that, yeah, not enough. It could have been 3, by the way. We dismissed it. The offside goal they got was it was very slim offside.
Absolutely.
The fact that they went 2-0 up 15 minutes, it allowed them to not play for the rest of the 75. They didn't have to. And this is Nottingham Forest football. Like, when you go against teams like Nottingham Forest who are going to go into a low block, hit you on the counter, as soon as they get their goal, their job is, we're going to get tight and compact and just not concede. And they done their job really well. Spurs didn't set up in a way where we was ever going to continuously break them down. And one thing I hate is when fans they get mad, they go, oh, but we created chances. Well, for one, the quality of chances weren't that good. But also, when you create chances for Richarlison, Odegaard and Tell, and although I do think Odegaard and Tell had decent games, neither of them are goal scorers. So they're going to miss chances. Then they're going to miss a lot of clear-cut opportunities because they're not goal scorers. And that's what you expect from a front line that is so young and so naive.
And you expect, I keep hearing that, we've had chances, we've had the possession. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you don't set up at the back. When you don't set up at the back, you're going to have chances. But you know what? So are the opposition. Yeah. And the difference between Forest for me and other teams is other teams will keep going. Other teams keep going. Yeah. Forest, it's as though no one had seen them play before. Everyone going, well, we've had 70% possession. Yeah. That's what Nottingham Forest do to teams. But I saw an interesting compilation this morning, and it was they amalgamated every one of Ange Postecoglou's post-match interviews where he's saying, well, yeah, it was obviously another loss, but obviously another loss, and it was just like, I've never heard a manager have to talk about losing so much, and as an older Spurs fan, so to speak. But look, the worrying thing for me, George, is we're going into these Europa games. We're not going to be going in any sort of form. Let's be brutally honest, because if we beat Liverpool, I'll be absolutely stunned. So we're coming off the back of one Premier League win in 7, which was against Southampton, a 1-0 win against Frankfurt, which was by a penalty. Is there going to be that feel-good factor? Are the players playing for him? What do you think they're going to be like at the training ground? Are they buoyant that we're in a semi-final, or is it, please get to the end of a season? What do you reckon it's like?
It's a difficult one because I'd always like to think that with a semi-final ahead, that the players would presents an opportunity for a lot of players to win their first trophy. Like they should be well up for it. Whether you're doing it for the manager or you're doing it for yourself, the players should be well up for the games. But
Yeah.
it's like you say there, like even when we was losing 2-0 down to Nottingham Forest, there's little clips on the sideline. You're seeing James Maddison, Brendan Johnson's like they're all like having a laugh on the sidelines, just like joking around, like, hey, yeah, man, look, we're losing again. And it's like this is the mentality of Spurs, and this is the problem with Spurs ultimately, is because the mentality is we just accept defeat. We sit here and we don't have real winners or real people that want to compete. And so I do think that a lot of them are giving up on the manager, although they all come out and say they're defending the manager. You've heard Van der Ven, Spence, and all this come out and say, oh yeah, we still back him, we back the way we play. It's just not true. The way that we play is not sustainable. You can't sit there, especially from the defender's point of view, and say that you guys back. He's not improved any defender. And it's so easy to play. Like one long ball over the top into the channels kills our defense every game. Like
every game.
And
I think you've hit the nail on the head. You've hit the nail on the head. Look, the way I look at this is when people say, oh, well, the players have come out and said nice things. Well, yeah, they're paid employees. They're not going to come out and go, oh, God, our manager is rubbish. Yeah, oh, God, I do not want to play for this manager. They're not going to do that. Yeah. Look, the season can be salvaged. But George, I've said this, I'm getting a lot of stick for it. But George, when would you expect me not to get a lot of stick on YouTube? You know, I'm somebody, I don't care if he wins it, right? If Spurs win it, brilliant. I don't care about him though. If he wins it, I still want him gone because I'm looking at the betterment of this club. I can't have another 2 years where no players, like you said, they're coached. I can't have another 2 years where Gray, Moore, etc., are not developed, are not brought into the team, and not given minutes ahead of players like Timo Werner and Matisse Tell on loan when you've got more already. Where are you with that? I mean, obviously, there's no right or wrong, but if he wins it, are you still see you later, Ange?
Yeah, has to go. He has to go. Like, I feel like for me, because when I turned on Ange, my turning point was the football. It wasn't actually the results. I like to focus on the football and how we're playing and the lack of sustainability with the football, but the lack of improvement more than anything. Like his tactical adaptability is near to none. And even when he's tried to adapt, it's just not good. So he's clearly shown that he's not up to the level of the other Premier League managers. I wouldn't trust giving Ange any more months with this team to build, especially another summer transfer window. That's just going to push us back even further. It's just going to, because it's not going to suit his system. Then we're going to bring in a new manager who potentially has a new system, and we're going to have to adapt and sort of build around that. So I think whether he wins it or not, Ange needs to go. It's just time. We saw what happened with Manchester United, Ten Hag last year. He won it. It brought him some time, and eventually 4 or 5 months later, he got sacked. Same thing with Di Matteo with Chelsea. Same thing with Juan de Ramos with Tottenham. Winning a trophy in a season, it can paper over the cracks, but it's never gonna paper over the football. The football is the football, and it's never gonna improve. So yeah, I think Ange has to go.
I bet Man United, as a really good example there, are absolutely gutted that they gave Ten Hag. I mean, I don't know. I haven't got the figures in front of me. It must have been 200 million last summer. I remember Xerxes was big money. Euro was big money. I'm missing one other, but
Mazraoui, they spent a lot of money on
that. They spent some money. So look, I completely agree with you. I want to talk about Romero, and obviously in the thumbnail I've said, Romero can go with him, and people always think that means I don't like Romero. George, let me tell you where I'm at with Romero, and then I'll tell you why. I think Romero's a good defender. I think that's it. I feel like in football, we need to talk in shits or world class. I don't feel like he's either. I think he's a good defender. For me, I don't think he has developed since he joined Spurs. We got him off the back of being Italian Defender of the Year. For me, under Conte, whoever else he's been working under, under Nuno, under Conte, under Ange, I don't think he's developed. And the problem I have with it, George, is for me, he's almost got that chip on his shoulder of, I've used Tottenham as a stepping stone. He came out and he thanked the Argentinian medical team, which I think was just a little dig at Spurs. There's reports that he's fallen out with Ange a couple of times in the last couple of years. He's done that interview the other day, like literally we're on the verge of a semi-final, and he's doing an interview talking about, I'd like to go and play in La Liga. Where are you at with Romero? Are you bothered if he goes? Is this a good time to get him gone with 2 years left on his contract? What's your stance?
Yeah, look, I'll say same as you. I think for me, when he came to Spurs at first, I thought he's a really good defender. I do think he has some great attributes. I don't
Yeah,
think he's had a manager that's really been able to rein him in. I feel like he needed a Mourinho. He needed someone that could rein in and focus on his strengths and maybe take the aggressiveness out of his game, but also
yeah,
make him a pure defender. And for me, I think he's good, but also he's just been that level below the rest. I feel like for us as Spurs fans, a lot of us, for me as well, I'd say I overrated him at first because we were
right,
starving. We had Sanchez, Davies, and Dyer. He looked
sure,
levels above all three of those. So I think at this point, with the fact that we've had him for 3 or 4 years now, he's missed a lot of game time within that time frame. He's missed a lot of minutes. His availability is a problem, but also, like you said there, his arrogance. He sort of thinks that he's better than the club without actually proving to be better than the club. He's been one of our worst defenders this season. When he's been
mm,
available, he's just not been at the levels required.
agreed,
And I think for me, when we signed Danso, I was already like, hey, look, if Danso looks better than him, I'd be ready to move on him. From what I've seen from Danso, he doesn't look like he's a level below Romero. They look about a similar level, and they're about the same age. So Danso could improve. He looks like
mhm,
he's not as aggressive, looks more calm and more of a player that could be more captain material rather than Romero, who's just
mhm.
he needs someone next to him controlling him, sort of like a dog on a leash. He needs to be on a leash. You can't let him go. So yeah, I think I'm ready, especially with the fee that it's going to command. Romero's going to bring us in a good 50, 60 million pounds. Could
Agreed.
reinvest that into another defender or just other positions in the squad. I'd be more than willing to let Romero go. And the comments he come out with, and also people forget, he walked straight down the tunnel like Wolves.
Right.
That all by itself, being a captain, is disgraceful behavior.
But it's everything, isn't it? Like you
Yeah.
mentioned there, the walking down the tunnel. It's the erraticness in games. For example, I thought he was sensational against Frankfurt,
Oh,
but the
95th
two
minute.
games either side, I think he was dreadful.
Yeah.
Wolves and Forest. I thought he was very good against Fulham, but the game before against Bournemouth, I thought he was dreadful. And this is the problem: when you're erratic, when you're rash, when you are stepping into midfield and clattering people and getting yellows all the time. Add that to the petulance walking down the tunnel, the
Mhm.
whole stuff with Argentina. He always seems to be available for
Yeah.
Argentina, but not Tottenham. I agree with you. I would rather have someone like a Danso. Right, I'm not saying we can't get better, but I would rather have someone like a Danso who will say, you know what, I know what I am. I'm a 7 out of 10 defender, but you know what? You're going to get 7 out of 10 week in,
Consistent.
week out. That's all I want. Look, George. We are in a position now where Sunday's game. It's an interesting one, right? Because I mean, I'm happy that we're involved in a title party. I mean, that's as good as I can say. But we are in this situation, George. We are in this situation where
Mhm.
Tottenham Hotspur are one defeat away from equaling our most ever in a Premier League season. Um, Add on to that Liverpool will win the title if they beat us. Add on to that, we've still got 4 Premier League games after that at Villa Park. Villa are excellent at Villa Park. West Ham, this will be their absolute cup final. Brighton at home, they'll be playing for European football. Palace at home. George, this is an utter embarrassment, isn't it? Win the Europa League or not, 19, 20, 21 defeats in the league is an utter embarrassment.
Yeah, it's absolutely just it's unfathomable, really. Because even when you brought the stats like that 93, 94, see, that was a 42 game league season. That had more games. So even then, like, this is way worse because we're playing a 38 league game season.
Yeah.
And it's like you said there, like I can't see us winning any more games. Like, I look when I was looking back at it in March and we had like just before the Bournemouth game, so I was like, might be able to get like 2 or 3 wins. Now, I generally think we'd be very lucky to finish 40 points. And if we do, we might just finish on 40, 41 with 1 win, 1 draw, because we're in a really bad position. All those teams we're facing are actually competing for something, barring maybe Palace. But they're still in the FA Cup and stuff. But
Mhm.
we're just in a, you can't save the season at this point. The season's done. going into this Liverpool game, it's just like, yeah, they're going to win the league on us. It's going to be another joke for Spurs. And no matter...
It is. There's going to be loads of memes going around, isn't there? Something about Tottenham, something about Spursy and league titles. It's just, it's going to be embarrassing.
It's just another thing, another negative record that's going to go against Ange's name. And yeah, pretty much. I know our worst ever season's like 21 defeats in league history, I think. Oh, no, that's the worst in Premier League. We could equal that. We could equal the worst ever team to most defeats without getting relegated. I think it's like West Ham and West Brom or something like that, maybe years ago. So it's very likely that we're going to get another 3 defeats in our last 5 games, which is just, yeah.
I mean, look, I'm looking at our worst ever number of defeats in a top flight season was when we actually got relegated in 77. Now that was 21. I've got it in front of me. I've got 21 defeats from 42 games. So even then, that was a 50% loss rate.
Yeah.
We are now already at a 55% loss rate. So when people are saying to me, George, just back the team, I'm constantly called a fair weather fan. George, we're the 8th, 9th richest club in the world. We've got the best stadium in the world. And we're talking about, can we keep it below 21 defeats in a season? And look, this is what Nizar Kinsella came out today. He said Spurs need to avoid several unwanted records. Not one, George. Not one, several. They need to avoid losing 2 more games to not have their most defeats in a single season. And that would be 20. This is the worst one for me, mate. They need 8 more points to surpass their worst points total in a Premier League era. And they've also suffered their most home defeats in 38 game season, but another 2 would surpass their worst total in a 44 game season. So what Nizar is talking about there, I'll bring this up onto the screen. So Tottenham Hotspur, since the Premier League started in 92, 93, didn't it?
Yeah.
So 92, 93, Tottenham Hotspur, 59 points. Here we go. Our worst ever points total. There we go. I'll bring it up onto the screen right now. Right. This is what the record we're trying to stave off. So this is all of our seasons in the Premier League. If you look at the 97, 98 season there near the top, you'll see there the column that says 44. That's our lowest ever points tally. So we're going back, 30, 28, 29 years. And we are currently, George, on 37. You're talking about you can't see another win, and we need 7 points to match that.
No, I don't think we can. I generally think we finish on 40, 41. I think maybe 1 win, 1 draw, if we're very lucky. And that might be like a Palace and the Palace and Brighton games, because we definitely won't get nothing from Villa and Liverpool. So, yeah, I think we'd be extremely lucky to even match those points, but I doubt that we're going to get there.
Last question from me, and then I'll let you go. Look, lots of people message, you know what it's like when you've got YouTube and people just bombard you with comments. I love it. I find it funny, and some are good, some are funny, some are abusive, and you just take the good with the bad. I'm getting loads of people right now going, "Oh, Savva, you don't know what you're talking about. If we won the Europa League, no one's going to remember all these records." George, I don't know about you. I am fully going to remember that it was the least number of home wins ever.
Yeah.
That it was our worst points tally ever in the Premier League. That it was the record number of defeats. I'm fully going to remember that more than beating Frankfurt, Bodo Glimt, and United or Bilbao.
Yeah, I mean, I still like people say this. I remember when we won the last trophy one. I remember how bad that season was as a whole. Like we finished 13th or something, and it was a horrible year. But we just managed. You remember the win, but you also remember the season. This year is going to be way worse than that. We could be finishing 17th, and I know there was a lot of people making jokes years ago. I finished 17th and take a trophy. I mean, now you're getting to see the results of that. And look, I understand the trophy's gonna outweigh the point that, look, the trophy's the biggest thing. We won the trophy, but I'll be honest, for me, although we win the trophy, it's not going to feel the same as having a good season and winning the trophy, because it's just going to feel bittersweet. It's like, oh yeah, we won Europa League, it's amazing, but this year has been so negative. Like we've had so many bad games. It's hard to get up for it and have that positive energy for Spurs. Like even going into the game, and even when we go into the final, I think there's gonna be a lot of Spurs fans that want to be happy, want to be positive. They're just gonna struggle because the performances don't fill you with any confidence.
Yeah, it's mad. I'm seeing fans that don't go to. By the way, I won't pay him, but I'm seeing fans that don't go to games telling fans that do pay that they should just be happy and back the team. And it's like, whoa, whoa, hang on. These people are giving up their weekends, their midweek. They're traveling across Europe. They're leaving their wives and husbands and kids, and they're being told just get behind the. I just can't have it, mate. I think it's wrong. Right. I want one yes or no answer, and then we're ending. Are Tottenham winning the Europa League, Jords? Yes or no?
No, I'll just say yes. Trying to keep the positive vibes, trying to keep the positive energy. I'm saying we're gonna get it done, but
you know what? If you're not married and ever get married, just use that as a life lesson. I'm just gonna say yes. Yes. Can you do this? Yes, I absolutely can. Jords, thank you very much for joining. Everybody, you know where to find Jords. If you don't, his link is in the bio for this video. Please get over to Durag Diaries. Show all the Spurs creators some love. Whether you agree 100% with their opinion, how boring if you only watch the same creator. Yeah. Get a different flavor. So George, thanks very much. Get over there, subscribe to Durag Diaries. We're 100 away from 17,500 here. So please smash that button. Take care. I'll end my show as always. Ange out, Levy out, Lang out, Mun out. But come on, you Spurs.